Alright, so when we made our granny square, we read a pattern for the granny square when it's in a written form. Now what I want to do is I want to go through the pattern when it's in a symbolic form. For example, when you have a pattern looking like this, or you have a pattern that looks like this. So it's using a pattern, it's a symbol chart that is being used. To do that, I'm going to go with a real basic chart so that you can get familiar with it, and then you can advance to harder charts. But you don't want to start with a hard chart initially. Now, the requirements are that you need to know your symbols, and it's easy enough to get a symbol chart. Generally, when you've got a pattern and it's coming from a book, they will tell you what the symbols mean. Different books use different symbols. For example, a double crochet. Generally, you have one symbol that is used, but some books differ. So, you know, if you're getting a book from England versus a book from America, you're going to have to read the beginning part to see what their symbols are. So you do get that, but I would suggest that you read in the beginning of your book or at the back of the book and just get an idea of their symbols. For example, single crochet can use a cross or it can use a plus just sign. So that you are aware of that I would look and be sure that you're using the correct symbol for the stitch. So you're using the correct symbol for the correct stitch. So for example, this is a real easy, this is your V stitch. It's not very easy to see it on here, but you've got 2 stitches working in one. Now I'm going to do this with you, but a lot of times they will show you, for example, this is represented by, this symbol is the chain stitch, and this is your double crochet, which is this one over here. So coming from that perspective, you need to be aware of what they are. That's your basic thing, and then you can go ahead and do them. Now I'm going to do this with you so that you can see. What you want to do is count your chains that are being used over here. So you would go ahead and you would count this lot over here. So you'd count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So over here I have 13 chains. Alright, so now I know I need to chain 13. So you can go ahead and chain 13. I'm going to chain mine. So I have chained 13 chains like it says. Then you want to have a look and see what they're saying. They say you want to do 2 double crochets which have a chain in between them. So it's a double crochet, chain, double crochet, and all of that is happening in this one little chain stitch over here. And that one is number 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the 5th chain from my hook. Alright, so you want to count 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 chain, and you want to go into this 5th chain with a double. Alright, so I'd go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the chain I need to go into with a double crochet. So I do 1 double, and then it says to do 1 chain. So I'll do 1 chain and another double in the very same chain. You can see find the same place where you did the double crochet, and I have made 1 chain over there. So double crochet in that same place. And your whatever you are crocheting here should look exactly the same as this. So here you can see I have this turning chain. I have a double. I've got a chain 1 there and a double. Okay, then it says to make a double, chain 1, double in this stitch over here. And I can see that's where I work. So I've got to skip 2 and I've got to go into the 3rd chain. So I'm going to skip 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to go into this next chain doing the same thing. 1 double crochet, 1 chain. I've skipped 2 over there, 1, 2, and then did a double, a chain, and now doubled in the same place. Okay, and now it should be looking the same as this. And now it looks like this is repeated. Skip 2 chain, then a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in. So then you skip 2, and then you would go into the 3rd chain over here with a double. then you would chain 1 and do another double in the same. And you would continue this for as long as your foundation chain is. And this is what you do at the bottom. So this is repeated over and over here. So as long as the length you want, you would just keep repeating it. Now to end off, you would have 2 chain left, which is what we have. 1, 2 chain. And then they say skip 1 and go into the next one. So I skip this one and I go into the last one with a double crochet. And that's your pattern. Okay, and it looks exactly the same as this. Now you do 3 chain. This is row 2 over here. When you're reading your chart, you are reading from this side to there, so from left to right. Okay, and that's your first row, and generally they will indicate that it's row 1, and that's row 3. Okay, then you can always know where your row starts because you're going to have chain there. Okay, so I know this is the beginning of a row and this is the beginning of a row. Alright, so this is now row. Always start where your chains are. So now I'm going to start with chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then you turn your work around. Alright, and now we're going to come back. Now this is the row that sets up your whole pattern stitch, this first one. Now you can go to the next one and see, okay, they are now working in this chain. You can see that your double crochets, your double, chain 1, double are all working in this chain. Okay, so I did my 3 chain and I need to find that chain. There's the chain space that they're talking about right over there. And I'm going to do this pattern stitch in there. So yarn over and do a double crochet in this chain space. So chain 1 and a double in that same space. And there I have a V-stitch. Okay, and now they say, just to repeat that, there's no chain in between these two, and there's nothing else. It's just going into each chain space with a double, chain, and a double until you get to the end. So then you just continue with that. There's my next chain space, and they're talking about the V, not over here. So you do a double, chain 1, and a double in the same. Okay, there's another one. So a double, chain 1, and a double in the same place. Okay, now we want to see how do they end it. They end it with 1 double crochet in the top of that chain. Okay, so there's the top of my chain over there, and they're doing 1 double in there. And now I have completed the first 2 rows, and they should look exactly the same as the pattern. Okay. So that's where you're done. Now you can see this is where you start your next row because it starts with chains. So now we're going to chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Turn your work around, and it's exactly the same as this row. So go into this chain space in your V with a double, with a chain 1 and a double. Okay, there's the next one, doing the same thing, double crochet, chain 1 and a double. Okay, same in here, double crochet, chain 1 and a double. And then once again, this also completes with just 1 double in the chain. So this is the row that you're working on, and it works into the bottom row. So there's the chain from the previous round, and I'm working into that one, to the top of this one with a double. And there you have your V-stitch, and it looks exactly the same as your pattern. That's how you read a real simple symbol chart. You're really just following your symbols exactly as they say. It's just using a symbol, you know, your double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And that's all that you would just keep repeating this. You can see that that's just repeated over and over. As I say, your first row really sets the, this first row sets the standard for everything. This is a setup row number 1, generally speaking. And then you'll see you probably have something that's repeated. For example, this is now just repeated. I can see this is repeated over and over. And so that's just the real basics on how to follow a symbol chart. I don't want to get too involved. I just want you to be able to read a real basic symbol chart so that you can at least get started. For example, this one, you count your chains again. This you can see is standing for a single crochet over here. So you would chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 chain. And you do a single crochet in the second chain from your hook. Then you would skip 1, 2 chain, and you can see all of these, all 5 of these are done in this chain. Double crochet, double, 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 all in there. Then you skip 2 chain and you do a single crochet in there. Skip 2 and you do your 5 doubles in this one. And then to end, you skip 2 and you do a single crochet in that one. Okay, and you can see this is now the next row because it's 1, 2, 3 chain. And then you're going to do 2 doubles in there. Now I've done the first double, chain 2, and then I did a single over here. So row 2 you would chain 3, which I have you turn around, and then it's saying 2 doubles in the same place as your chain. So this is where I did the chain. So in that very same spot I would do 2 double crochets. 1 in that very same spot as that chain, you do 2 doubles. Alright, then it says to do a single crochet in the middle of these 5. So they're the middle of the 5. Just do a single crochet in the middle. So I just go to the middle and do a single. It's obviously no specific because you got 5. So you just got to find the middle of the center of that. Okay, that's over there. Then it says to do 5 doubles all in that single over here. So now I find the single, there's that single, and I do 5 doubles. So I go to where that single crochet is and I do 5 doubles. 1, 2, and 5. So you do 5, and then it says to do a single in the middle of the next, a single in the middle of the next lot. So I find the middle and I do a single. Okay, and then it says to do 3 double crochets in the single, the end single that we had made. We had made a single crochet right at the end. Do 3 doubles in there right at the end. So then you just do your 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there we did our 3 doubles in there. Now these are the 2 rows here that seem to be setting up. That's your setup row, and then these 2 are being repeated. So from there to there, and then from there to there. Because now for the next row you're starting off with a single crochet. Now you're going to do chain 1. So you would chain 1, you chain 1, then you turn your work around and do a single crochet above that first double that you had made. So I do a single just over there, and then you follow the rest of your pattern. 5 doubles in this single that you had made, which is right over here. So 5 doubles there. 1, there's that single. 1, 2, 4, and 5, and then I do a single crochet in the middle of this set. So a single in the middle of those, and then 5 again in your single over here. So 5 doubles in there. 1, 4, and 5. And then this one finishes again with a single in the chain 3. So there you had made chain 3, and you do a single crochet in that. Now you're going to go back to this one over here. This one is working from left to right. This one is right to left. Okay, and these are the 2 rows that you're going to repeat, and you can see that they're different because this has got chain 3 here, and that's got a chain 1 on it. Okay, and this is now chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, turn around and do your 3 in here. So that's really all. There's a little bit of art to reading them. You'll get used to it as you go. And you can see this is a repeated pattern, these 2 rows versus this one just being one row repeated each time, because you can see this one is exactly the same, whereas this one you can see they're not the same, because that starts with chain 3 and that starts with 1. And they get more advanced where you have 5 rows that form a pattern. But we're keeping this really basic, and yeah, so that's really how you read your row to row patterns. Now when it's working in the round, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. You're just working in the round. Alright, now without getting too advanced, I just want to show you, if you are wanting to make a longer project, that is longer than these 13 stitches, you have to find your pattern repeat. I don't want to give too much detail, but all that you want to do is you want to find where your pattern is repeating itself. So you would work from the foundation row here, and you'd have a look and see, alright, my pattern is going from here to here. There's a repeat, it's going from there to there. So I can see this and this is the same, and it's just repeated over and over. So if you want to make a project that's longer, you need to find your pattern repeat. So I can see now from here to here we're using 1, 2, 3 chains, 1, 2, 3 chains, 1, 2, 3 chains. So this project is working with a multiple of 3 chains plus 1 and plus 1, which is this one over here. So it's a multiple of 3 plus 1, let's see, because it's 12, plus 1 chain extra, which is going to be used just for your double crochet at the end. So, and you can work up, because this has got 13 chains, so I know that 3 goes into 13 4 times, which is 12, and that leaves me with 1 extra. So therefore I need a multiple of, so you can use any multiple of 3 plus 1 chain. Alright, and then for example with this one, then if you are looking at this one, you can see that this one is working, this one is going from your single to there, from there to there. So I can see that this is working with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chain. Alright, and we crocheted 14. So from, I know that this needs to be in a multiple of 6. So then you would divide the 6 into the 14, and that goes 12 times. It goes 2 times, which is 12, and that leaves me with 2 stitches over. So I know I need a multiple of 12 plus 2 stitches. Alright, so that's just doing it really basic. As I say, they can get a little bit advanced, but I just want to keep this really basic. So just find your pattern repeat, and you do that on the foundation row where you see your pattern is repeating over and over. And I know it's going from there to there, from there to there. And then count your stitches. Don't include that one because you've already counted it here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See how many chains you've got here, which is 14. So 6 would go into the 14, which would give me 12, and that would leave me 2. So you chain 14, you do a multiple of 6 plus 2. Alright, and that's just covering the real basics. So that's how you would work out if you want to make a bigger project to what they've actually got. They just give you the sample here. So yeah, let's keep Alright, so I just want to give you a quick look at if you were doing it in the round. Same thing here, you're going from one round to the next round, except they're all going to start at the same place. So same thing, you would just count all your chains here and then slip stitch them together, obviously following what your pattern says. And then this is going to be your chain 3 for double crochet. This is your first round, so you'd work from there, you do a double in your chains, circle, and then you have your 2 chains, 1 double, 2 chain, 1 double, 2 chain, 1 double, 2 chain, 1 double, and this just repeats itself till you come to the end. Here we have your double, your 2 chains, and then you slip stitch into the 3rd chain over here. Then you move on up with your 4 chains, because these are now treble. So you have 4 chains to stand as 1 treble, and then you have your next 3 trebles, chain 2, 4 trebles, and these are done in your chain 2 chains. So you do 2 trebles in the one and 2 in the next, and then you just keep following your pattern as it goes around, because then you come back here and you slip stitch into your 4th chain. Then you go ahead here, and this has got your 4, you got trebles again, so it's 4 chain, and then you got your 2 trebles into the 1 treble here. So we're increasing here, 2 trebles in this one and 1 treble in that one. And so you just keep repeating it, and I'm just trying to give you a general idea of how this works, because they do get pretty advanced, but you would just follow and keep going on in the round. Right, that's how you work out your symbol charts, and this is just real basic. I just wanted to introduce you to them so you can start with real easy symbol charts. But let's go ahead and start with our projects, with our scarves and our hats in our next session.